Today we're going to look at the little exercise you did about idioms on page 97, and then I'm going to read you the story. So number 1 gave you a list of idioms, and you should have written those idioms out in full so that you have some examples in your book, and we're going to look at what each of them means. A leopard cannot change its spots. They asked you to look at the list below to choose which meaning you thought was relevant. So a leopard cannot change its spots means however hard you try, you cannot change your basic nature. So you might adjust or improve certain things, but there are certain things that you cannot change, just as a leopard cannot change from spots to stripes. Right. B said don't count your chickens before they hatch. And they meant wait until you actually have something before you start thinking it's yours, or don't get too overexcited until plans are certain. So if you have something incorrect or you need to do a correction, make sure you're doing it with a pencil or a colored pen. Good. C, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. That means it's rude to try and work out how valuable a gift is. Just be grateful. Don't ask a million questions when someone gives you something. Where did you buy it? How much? Just be grateful for anything that you get for free. All right. D, keep your feet on the ground. It doesn't mean that you should never jump. It means to stay sensible and practical, even when you achieve success. So don't get above yourself or don't think that you're better than others. Even if you're successful, you need to stay grounded. E was let sleeping dogs lie. Right. That means don't stir up trouble. Just as you wouldn't go up to a Rottweiler while it's sleeping and poke it with a stick, it's the same thing. You shouldn't start trouble where there is no trouble. All right. If love me, love my dog. Now, this is not such a common idiom. It means if you love me, you must love everything about me, including the things that you don't like very much. But if you love me, you need to accept them. Number 2, they asked what idioms are represented by each of these pictures, and there was A, B, and C. It looked like that in your textbook. So let's start with the first one, A. It's don't put the cart before the horse. Right. If you worded it slightly differently because you've looked it up somewhere else, that's fine, as long as it's the one about the cart being in front of the horse. All right. It means you're doing things in a back to front roundabout way, or you're getting ahead of yourself. B, there we go. It was that fish over there. It means to be a big fish in a small pond. All right. So it means you're quite important, or you think quite a lot of yourself in the situation that you are, but perhaps if you were put into a different situation, you wouldn't feel as confident. And C, there we go, pulling on the horse's reins. You can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So yes, you can encourage perhaps someone, but you cannot force someone to do something that they don't want to do. All right. I'm going to read to you the story of the Milkmaid and the Pail, and it's not very long, so if you just listen carefully. It's on page 98 if you'd like to read along there, or you can read along on the screen. All right, so there we go. There's the Milkmaid, and the pail is a bucket which she carries on her head. A milkmaid balanced a full bucket of milk on her head. As she walked home, she dreamed of all the money she would make from the milk. I will make butter, she thought, and with the money that I get from the butter, I will buy some hens. Soon I will have a lot of chickens. I will sell the eggs, and with the money I make from them, I will buy a new dress. She imagined herself being admired by all the young men at the fair. She imagined herself tossing her head proudly. She was so caught up in her dream that she tossed her head, and the bucket of milk wobbled and crashed to the ground. All the milk was spilled, soaked into the ground, and disappeared. And so did all her dreams of chickens and eggs and a new dress. So, quite a short story. It's full of idioms and it has a moral. The moral is an idiom. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. All right. So she was actually trying to imagine all of the things that would happen to her, even though she wasn't sure of the outcome. Right, good. Keep working hard. Make sure that you've corrected the answers from page 97 of your textbook, and all that you need to do is make sure that you've listened to or read the story of the milkmaid and her pail. So you should make sure that you go back and check this week. You should have completed lesson 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And if there are lessons that you're missing from previous days or previous weeks, now there's time in the weekend for you to make sure you're all caught up. All right.